I think that's why I'm so excited, is because I have been blessed to see what it looks like under the GOAT. And now you're going to the baby GOAT, who's been, all the eyes are on her all around the world. And so it's just kind of a cool experience for everyone.
She's changed our game in the best possible way. That's what Sophie Cunningham said about CaitlinClark in her latest interview since joining the Fever, while critics and haters continue to downplay Clark's impact. Cunningham's candid assessment from a veteran perspective carries significant weight.
I am joined by Indiana Fever's Sophie Cunningham. And I just said Indiana Fever, Sophie Cunningham. You have been with the Phoenix Mercury for 6 years, now heading over to Indiana for the 2025 season. What does that feel like? How has that transition been?
But there's another quote from a New York Post interview that's even more revealing. "I've been that feisty player my whole career." Cunningham isn't just coming to Indiana to shoot threes, she's coming to be the enforcer this young team desperately needs. For Clark, who's faced unprecedented physical defense, having a teammate willing to push back might be the difference between good and great. Are you ready to hear more about what Sophie just said? Then comment CC and Sophie down below. Let's go.
You know, it is so funny that you even said that, because I'm so excited, but I'm still not used to it, just because I've been drafted out here. I've been here for 6 years. And so a couple weeks ago, I threw on the Indiana jersey for the first time, and everyone's saying I'm a Fever. And so I'm like, oh, I gotta get used to the new me, which I love. I'm so excited for. I think it's just such a great opportunity. I'm excited to play with the players that are there, play under the coaching staff that's there. And so I think this is just a new and exciting era for me. And, everyone that I kind of partner with.
You know, the Indiana Fever just had 5 wins a few years ago, landing them at the very bottom of the league. That's the hole they're climbing out of, and it's deeper than most people realize. Then they followed it up with a dismal 13-win, 27-loss record despite already having the 2023 first overall pick, Aaliyah Boston, at that time. This wasn't just a bad couple of seasons for the Fever, it was a clear signal that something fundamental needed to change in Indianapolis.
Yeah, I think Indy, those my year 1 through 3.5. Well, let me just say this. I went through my 7 years in Indy, I've had 4 head coaches. So that within itself was kind of like, no one really knows what an experience of like the black stick at the bottom. Trust me, I've been there. Trust me. So I was, that's really how it started,
Think about what that means for a franchise at rock bottom. The Fever weren't just losing games, they were losing relevance in a league where attention is already hard to come by. Their performance was so concerning that it became obvious to everyone watching that a complete roster overhaul wasn't just desirable, it was absolutely necessary for survival.
When y'all left, it was still a rebuild stage. So different coaches got hired. And I think that at that point, we was trying to figure out whether I was keep swimming or if I would sink in the division. And I'll be honest, I didn't know what would happen in my career. I didn't know how it would turn out, because the points were the points, the accolades were accolades, but it wasn't enough.
That team winning. Team, not individual, team.
And anybody that wanted to compete and be a winner,
it's about team.
Then comes the 2024 draft, and suddenly everything changes. The Feverland, the #1 pick, and with it, CaitlinClark, arguably the most consequential rookie in WNBA history. Overnight, the team that nobody was watching became the team everybody was talking about. But here's where things get complicated. That spotlight brings heat, and the critics and skeptics wasted no time questioning everything about this new look. Ever would Clark's game translate to the pro level? Could this young team actually compete with the powerhouses of the league? The questions weren't just coming from random social media accounts. They were legitimate concerns from basketball analysts who saw a talented rookie walking into a situation that still had major deficiencies.
And Diana said it best. This kid's in for a rude awakening. And they all jumped over her, but they didn't read the whole thing that she said. But nobody's printing. Diana Taurasi was right. This kid's on the wrong team. She's got the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of that league. And she's a rookie. And if you're a WNBA player, if you're any kind of player, you're going to say, I'm going to make a statement.
When the 2024 season tipped off, those early stumbles only amplified the criticism. The team looked disjointed at times, struggling to find chemistry. Clark was getting physically dominated in many matchups, with opposing teams seemingly taking turns trying to welcome her to the league with extra contact. The Fever's weaknesses were on full display. They lacked toughness, their shooting was inconsistent, and most glaringly, they had no enforcer, no veteran presence to stand up when things got physical. What became painfully obvious was that talent alone wasn't going to cut it. The Fever needed more than just skilled players. They needed battle-tested veterans who understood what it takes to win at the highest level. They needed players who wouldn't shrink under the intense scrutiny that comes with having a star like Clark on the roster.
Are you in a position where you can add some pieces?
Yes, we are. We're definitely in a position, and I would think that if you are a smart basketball player and you watch the way she plays, you would want to play with her.
That's when the front office made their move in what might go down as one of the most strategic rebuilds in recent WNBA memory. The Fever management responded by acquiring a buffet of veteran talent, including Sophie Cunningham, Dana Borner, Sydney Coulson, and Natasha Howard. These weren't just any veterans. These were players who had been in championship situations, who understood pressure, and who could teach the young core what winning really demands.
It's a wonderful fresh start for you. But before we look ahead, I kind of want to look back on your experience in Phoenix. Like you said, you were drafted there. You spent the last 6 seasons with the GOAT, Diana Taurasi, who just announced her retirement. What have you learned from her?
Oh man, I think we could sit here for days if we really went into that. But you know, at the end of the day, I think that Dee is one of the best humans I've ever met. She has one of the best hearts. The way she not only thinks about life, but the game is just on a whole nother level.
And of all these veteran additions, nobody made a louder entrance than Sophie Cunningham. While the Fever front office calculated these moves behind closed doors, nobody predicted the bombshell Cunningham would drop during her media tour. Most veterans tiptoe around, praising rookies, afraid of building them up too quickly. But Sophie took a completely different approach that left basketball analysts speechless.
Went from playing with a true legend of the game to now a rising legend of the game in CaitlinClark in Indiana. What is it about her? What have you observed about CaitlinClark now that you're going to be one of her teammates?
In her candid New York Post interview, Cunningham boldly proclaimed she was built for this moment after years in Phoenix, where it hasn't always been easy. Sophie saw this trade as destiny, a turning point in her career journey. "I think it's built me for something bigger and better," she revealed, "and the stage that we're about to be on with the players that I'm about to be with." Her words rang like a rallying cry for the entire franchise.
It was exactly what Cunningham needed after she got, quote, too comfortable across 6 seasons in Phoenix. Now she tells the New York Post that she's equipped to thrive in the spotlight while playing alongside Fever superstar CaitlinClark. Quote, "I think that since I've been out here in Phoenix, it hasn't always been easy," Cunningham, 28, said while discussing a partnership with Quest Nutrition. "There have been a lot of trials. There's been a lot of lessons learned, a lot of experiences that I thought was just like any WNBA team. But I think it's built me. It's made me tougher. It's tested my persistence and my mental quite a bit."
What makes Cunningham's comments so refreshing is their authenticity. Rather than offering cookie-cutter responses about taking it one game at a time, she acknowledged the roller coaster nature of professional sports and that it doesn't mean it's always going to be rainbows and butterflies, she admitted, showing remarkable self-awareness. Each season has its thing. This authentic voice signals exactly what she'll bring to the locker room. No sugarcoating, just real talk.
"I think it's built for me something bigger and better in the stage that we're about to be on with the players that I'm about to be with. I think I am built for this." So she's telling you she's ready. Did you pick up on the "I think it's made me tougher"? Because look, they're not only going to come after CaitlinClark, they're going to come after Miss Cunningham too. That is a fact. Unfortunately for her, I have a feeling she's not going to back down from anybody.
The move to Indiana came with a twist of irony. During the 2024 WNBA All-Star Game, Sophie had a playful interaction with Clark. "I told her, hey, if you ever want to come to Phoenix, let me know." Cunningham recalled with a laugh, "That one kind of backfired on me." The basketball gods had other plans, sending Sophie straight to Indianapolis instead.
Clark's fame put the team under a microscope, which opened the floodgates for scrutiny and constant attention. The Fever had to increase security when they drafted the Hawkeyes legend. None of that is intimidating to Cunningham. Here we go. And she's already said she's tough. Now we know she's not intimidated. Who's ready to chase a championship with a new-look Fever? Quote, "I think that's why they brought in a lot of veterans who have that experience. Cunningham said, and I'm not saying that they have the experience of hundreds of millions of followers watching you, watching your every step, but I do feel like they brought an experience of how to gel in the locker room.
The most powerful part of Cunningham's media tour was her fierce defense of Clark. She addressed the unprecedented pressure on the rookie's shoulders, noting that a lot of people haven't walked in her footsteps, so it's easy to judge. Sophie's willingness to publicly stand up for Clark sends a clear message.
I'm refocused. There's a different type of vibe and energy about me, she said. I think I'm always kind of happy, go lucky, go with the flow, and I'm still that. But I'm also like ready to dial in and get a championship because that's something I haven't done yet. So I'm going to do anything in my power to help the team do that. It's time for me to level up. Very interesting indeed. So she's ready.
Cunningham understands exactly what this Fever team needs. She expressed genuine excitement about Indiana's ball-sharing system tailor-made for both Clark's passing wizardry and Sophie's sharp shooting abilities. She sees the complete picture of what makes this roster special.
She's making it clear. She's ready, joining this squad. And look, remember when Cheryl Swoops and some of the other media was like, I don't know if any players are going to want to join CaitlinClark. Boy, that turned out to be some fraudulent activity, did it not, by the media?
The basketball connection between Sophie Cunningham and CaitlinClark isn't just another veteran rookie pairing. It's a relationship forged in the crucible of Diana Taurasi's shadow. After spending 6 seasons alongside one of the most scrutinized players in WNBA history, Sophie gained a unique perspective that most veterans simply don't have. This hard-earned wisdom about navigating the blinding spotlight is precisely what Clark needs as she faces unprecedented attention following her every move.
She has that same mindset that Dee has, and I've learned a lot on how to become a pro and how to get to where I want to be with Dee every single day and how she just does things. You know, I was a sponge around here. I saw her habits, her do's and her don'ts. And I think when you have someone like Caitlin, she doesn't really need a lot of help, right? Like she already knows how to play the game. She knows where she wants to be. She has an itch and a willingness to do whatever it takes to win.
What makes this partnership special is the on-court chemistry developing between them. Cunningham's impressive 40% success rate from beyond the arc in 2022 perfectly complements Clark's passing abilities. Picture this scenario. Clark drives toward the basket, drawing defensive help. She spots Cunningham, stationed in the corner, with a quick flick of the wrist, zips the ball to Sophie, who's left open as defenders scramble to contain Clark's bucket. This exact sequence has already played out multiple times in preseason action.
I do love the offense we're going to be playing. It's a motion offense. I feel like I haven't played in a motion offense since college, and so it's going to be run and gun, kick and shoot, lots of threes.
Thus, the spacing Cunningham provides transforms the Fever offense. Her threat from three-point range forces defenders to stay close, creating passing lanes for Clark to find other teammates. A defender who stays connected to Cunningham can't help against Clark's drives, and one who helps leaves a 40% three-point shooter unguarded, a clear advantage for Indiana. Cunningham's enthusiasm for Indiana's system is particularly meaningful. She's stoked about joining a motion-based offense emphasizing ball movement and sharing. "I'm ready to dial in and get a championship," she declared, bringing championship aspirations within reach.